Welcome to Nuts and Bolts 102. This session will discuss event logistics and working with the Conference and Event Services Office. Planning great events requires time, energy, patience, and planning with a great deal of behind-the-scenes work. Your SPA will help you navigate through the process. You will be working with staff in the Office of Student Involvement and Leadership and Conference and Event Services Office for all your club and event programming needs. Planning great events takes time. As you develop your events, you'll be working closely with the Conference and Event Services Office, also known as CISO. CISO is located in the Campus Center in room 108. Now we'll take some time to overview the event planning process and provide you with the information you need to know when planning great campus events. The first step to the event planning process is to take your great idea and meet with your SPA to submit a space reservation request. We'll cover what information your SPA needs to know in a few slides, but be sure to secure funding for your event through SGA or other means as soon as possible to make sure you meet all necessary deadlines. Once your group receives a tentative space in your mailbox, you'll meet with a member from CISO to complete the logistics and details for your event. This includes setup, food orders, and technology needs. If you're unsure who your event coordinator is in CISO, you can check the Bridgewater website at bridgew.edu/conferences. Upon completion of your event details with a staff member from CISO, you'll finalize all your paperwork for your program in OSIL. Contract generation forms and purchase orders require time to process, so be sure you're planning ahead to make sure the vendors you're working with are paid in a timely manner. Here are some common terms used in the event planning process. CISO is the Conference and Event Services Office. ESM is a Student Event Service Manager who works in CISO. An EP is an event planner who works in CISO. And a SPA is a student program advisor, and they work in OSIL. Event coordinators are your contact person in CISO, and you are the sponsor, the student group planning an event. Service providers are departments that CISO works with to arrange event services. And a resource is any item that a service provider needs, including technology equipment, tables, chairs, catering, etc. R25 is our online reservation system, and a confirmation is the R25 page you get back once you've booked a space. Event is any meeting or gathering that has one or more resources. Your group is assigned an event coordinator in CISO, who will be your point person for all your club events. With so many events and programs on campus, the student event planners and event service managers may be the staff member who works with you to complete all the logistical planning for your event. The CISO staff member will be your connection to the service providers. Club leaders should not contact providers like Sodexo or facilities. Communicate what needs you need for your event, and your CISO staff member will take care of the rest. As we mentioned before, the event planning process begins when you meet with your SPA to discuss what you would like to do and submit a reservation for space most appropriate for your event. Only a student program advisor may submit a reservation on your club's behalf. Providing your SPA with as much information as you can when you submit the reservation saves a lot of time later on. It is important to share with your SPA exactly what your group would like to do. Be sure to have alternative dates, locations, and any and all details that are relevant to the event planning process. If your club would like to have a meeting with no resources such as food, technology, or room setup, then you may submit a reservation request for that on your own. A meeting that does not ask for anything other than the room and how it is normally set up is called a simple meeting. It is important to remember, though, if you book a simple meeting and then request food, it is no longer a meeting, it is now an event and should go through the regular CISO process. Unlike a simple meeting, an event has additional components to it. When your SPA submits the room reservation request, the CISO reservationist works to find the best space for your program. Once a space has been identified, it is entered into R25, the university reservation system. If you have requested setup, technology, food, or other resources, the appropriate time is built into your request to set that up. Once the reservation has been reviewed in CISO, the tentative space reservation is sent to OSIL and goes in your club mailbox. At this point, you may meet with your event coordinator in CISO or designated event planner to start working on the logistics of your event. Once you have your tentative space, it's important to be in contact with CISO to schedule your event detail meeting. Be sure to arrive at your detail meeting with all the final logistics of your event. CISO will need to know if you're ordering catering and what your approved funding source is, if you need technology setup, or if you want a particular room setup. The next slide will show you what the event details sheet looks like. This is a quick shot of an event detail sheet. The sheet can be found on the CISO website. Every event and program will require you to complete one of these sheets. You should always keep a copy of the event detail sheet in your officer binder. This is a great way to document your events and pass it on to future leaders. As we mentioned, the event detail sheet is a very important component of your event planning. All of the resources you will need for your event should be included on the event detail sheet. This means everything from how you want the chair set up to how many mozzarella sticks you want to order. Be sure to submit the event detail sheet prior to the deadline for your event. Not completing this step may result in cancellation of your event. CISO will be your contact to campus service providers. So what is a service provider? Some of the offices that CISO works with are athletics, campus center operations crew, campus police, catering, Connect Card and parking, facilities, and IT CISO. Resources are any items that you're requesting in addition to this space. Items like parking signs, admission tables, tablecloths, power carts, food, etc. are all considered resources. Once you've met with a CISO representative, the next step is to keep them updated on if anything changes for your event. Remember, as the event gets closer, it'll be more difficult for CISO to make changes. The day of your event, a CISO staff member will check to ensure that all the setup and resources you planned are there. A CISO member will leave information on how they can be reached during your event, so if you need them, don't hesitate to call. Because the CISO representative also may need to be in contact with you, please make sure to provide the event coordinator or EP with a person that will be present at your event so that they can check in with them. CISO has created some online resources to help guide club and organization leaders through the event process. Feel free to check out those resources on the Conference and Events webpage. Nice work, champ! Now that you've completed the second video, you may move on to the third and final video on the club and organization finances. After completing all 3 videos, be sure to go to the Involvement Network and complete the Nuts and Bolts test. Remember, all 4 officers must get all the answers correct to complete this requirement.